My name is Erin.
I'm Alexa.
And we're here to talk about Black Fortune.
So first, the main problem that we have in waste management is landfills. Food waste is toxic, which makes up about 25 to 30% of the landfills, and that produces methane gases that leak into our ozone layer. And next, that contributes also to our climate change. Methane gas is 30 times more potent than carbon dioxide is, which makes it even worse to be able to go up into the ozone and affects our whole climate. Next, landfills are the third largest source of methane emissions. According to the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency, and the USDA recently pledged to reduce food waste 50% nationally by 2030.
Evansville landfill is about 25 to 30% of it is food waste, and most of that comes from grocery stores, restaurants, and school cafeterias. I visited Vogel Elementary School to find their own statistics, and I talked to the head cafeteria lady, and she told me that they now have a point system, and this point system has actually decreased the amount of food cost and decreased the amount of food thrown away. And in order to find exactly how much, she told me to talk to the janitor, which is Pat Dozier. So I talked to him, and he said about 200 pounds of food is actually thrown away a day at Vogel Elementary School. So, like I said, the food waste is from cafeterias, restaurants, public. Yeah, they discard a lot, I guess, in random trashes around the tri-state or whatever, but most of it does come from restaurants and schools.
So what we have is our solution. Here we have kind of a system that we put together for you guys. First, starting out at the top is where we have farmers call and set up an account with us. Next, we plan to lease 2 waste management trucks from WM Management. And then next, we collect the food. We go around Evansville individually with these 2 trucks, pick up food from grocery stores such as Schnucks, maybe Walmart. We're still kind of in contact with them. Restaurants, we're still in contact with a couple restaurants around town. And also school cafeterias, such as Erin said, is Vogel Elementary. And next, we take that food that is in the truck and we deliver it to the farmers immediately. We drop off that food to them, and they pay. The system is free, but they pay for the bins that we give them, which is a 2-can bioreactor system. And that kind of helps. It's a self-heating compost system that the food seeps into the soil and kind of is a natural fertilizer. So that way they have the bioreactor system in their farm already, and it kind of just dissolves on its own. They don't have to worry about taking the soil out and pouring it on their own, making it kind of extra work. And that's where we got our name Black Fortune. Is when the soil is done composting, they call it black gold because it's more of a natural and more valued fertilizer, regular than just bagged fertilizer and soil.
Our community trends, Indiana has one of the lowest recycling rates in the country. It's 10% below the national average. Landfill space is running low, extremely low. Evansville has 342,524, oh, that's million, 994. Vanderbilt County alone in itself is 8,552,119. Of this, 6,673,290 is cubic yards of food waste. California requires supermarkets to compost and recycle their own food. It's now a state law.
Next, we have our opportunity size. As we stated earlier, it's restaurants, grocery stores, and school cafeterias. For restaurants in the U.S., there's an average of about 6,000 tons a day that is wasted. And just in Evansville alone, that's about 150,000 pounds, and more than $8 billion worth. For grocery stores, we could not find any statistics even online. We tried looking around, we called different grocers, but we did find that it is an average of 10% out of 400 million wasted, and in school cafeterias, as Erin stated, about 200 pounds a day.
The competitive advantage, it's easily accessible, it's inexpensive, it's all natural, it's food that we produce, it's homemade, it's an uninterrupted system. We're not adding more chemicals to it, it does what it does on its own. We also have California Safe Soil. They supermarket food into their fertilizer. There's also local home improvement stores such as Lowe's, Home Depot, that sort of thing that sells bagged mulch, but most of that is yard waste such as leaves.
Next is our lean canvas, which I will talk more about the unique value proposition that we have come up with next. We allow large farmers to receive recycled food scraps through us by coordinating services and to pick up food from vendors, allowing farmers to compost in a more natural, homemade manner, which also provides a safer environment and decreases landfills about 30%.
Our customer segments, we're going to focus on like gardeners, horticulturists, restaurants, grocery stores, school cafeterias. Those are the ones that we're going to be picking up the food from, and the gardeners and the horticulturists. Farmers are who we're going to be giving it to or selling it to.
Our channels would be the word of mouth advertising to large scale farmers, which we are actually in communication with 2 farmers right now who would potentially be interested. Physical communication through making phone calls and advertisements, and our incentives for our vendors, for the restaurants and grocery stores, to kind of give them a reward for doing a free system with us.
Unfair advantage, we believe they would be interested in our company because our company will offer more of a natural and self-service opportunity in compost. It's self-heating compost. When it's mixed, it will self-heat on its own, which will force microorganisms to decompose it a lot faster than normal if it were to just sit there. The only food recycling business in Evansville would be ours, and we would dedicate all of our time to make sure that all of the food scraps, well, most of them, as many as we possibly can, are collected to increase soil health and food growth at the top of the chain.
Next is our problem, which there's no simple or short way to compost food. It obviously takes time. There's a high amount of food thrown away and the methane gas released into the ozone.
The key metrics: establish customer accounts with customer satisfaction. In communication, we'll be in communication with the supermarkets, restaurants, school cafeterias on a large scale of farmers.
And lastly, we have our solutions, which is obviously to collect the food waste to decrease the amount of trash pickup, connecting customers intangibly with our service, dispersing the food waste for crop growth only for large-scale farmers, and to reduce the methane gas released into ozone so we aren't exposed to this toxic waste.